Attention now to the latest in the United States. Our regular expert, Bruce Wolpe, joins us. Bruce, great to see you. Give us an update. What's the latest on the impeachment proceedings? It looks like the members of the House trying to bring more transparency to this process.
They are, Kieran, and welcome back to AM Agenda. Great to see you and Annalise together again. In the House of Representatives, the House Intelligence Committee overnight has begun releasing the transcripts of the depositions that they took over the past several weeks. Starting with Ambassador Yankelevich, the woman ambassador to the Ukraine, who was removed under pressure from the White House and from Rudy Giuliani. There will be several other depositions released during the week in the build-up to what I expect will be public hearings commencing next week, the week of November 4. And the depositions further flesh out the case and are designed to give, more transparency, as you say, and designed to give further momentum to the case that's being assembled by Speaker Pelosi, Adam Schiff, and the House Intelligence Committee.
So where does this go to from here? If these private conversations are being made public, how significant is this in the process?
It's significant in two respects. First, it will show that, in fact, all the witnesses were questioned by Republicans as well as Democrats. They went for hours. I mean, some of the interviews went for 10 hours, and the depositions are hundreds of pages long. And secondly, it just shows the commitment to for all the facts to be assembled, which will then be the basis of public hearings. So the Democrats feel that, first, the Republicans, they don't like the process. They are fighting it consistently. They will want to discredit witnesses and the case being assembled. The president is very firm in the White House. That is going to continue. The Democrats feel the more the public hears about this, the more it kind of moves the needle, is the term, on public opinion. And you have seen public opinion grow not only for the inquiry, but for impeachment itself. So these two colliding forces, the immovable object in the White House and the irresistible force coming out of the House of Representatives, they're going to collide over the next several weeks, and it'll be quite something.
Now, let's look at the political impact now in terms of the polling. Quite a significant New York Times poll is out. Obviously, we have to be a bit cautious at this time of the electoral cycle. We don't know who the Democratic candidate will be just yet. But what are the numbers saying, and who is best placed to be competitive with Trump in the battleground heartland states of the US? Yes,
this New York Times poll is really significant. It shows in several of the battleground states, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, that even the Democrat who's seen as the strongest against President Trump, which is Joe Biden, is only a couple points in front of him in those key states, which is very heartening to Trump supporters. On the other hand, Biden is competitive in Florida, which Trump has carried in some other states. But what it shows is that the president is, after everything that he's endured, the Mueller investigation, now this impeachment investigation, nothing has shaken his base, and he has to be considered at least 50-50 for re-election, and the election is a year from today in the United States. And so I think that gives Trump confidence that he's finding favor with those that he needs to turn out and vote, and that his policies are working for the country, and he will be a heat-seeking missile going after the Democratic nominee. But none of the nominees that the Democrats have put Trump away decisively, and that's the impact of this poll in the New York Times this morning.
Now, when we're looking at the election next year, we're having a bit of deja vu with the discussion around whether President Donald Trump will be forced to release his tax returns. Do you think it's likely?
We'll see. It's really something. What happened overnight, a decision by a federal appeals court in New York that the the Manhattan District Attorney, Cyrus Vance, this is a New York State official, he is looking into the payments made to women associated with President Trump. He wants the tax returns to look into those payments to see whether tax laws have been violated. The federal appeals court said that the accounting firm, the president's accounting firm, has to turn over those tax returns. It's almost certain that the accounting firm and the president will appeal to the Supreme Court, and we'll see if the Supreme Court takes it. Looking at this timeline, there could be a court decision with a final resolution as to whether these tax returns can be turned over to the city of New York within the next few months. In other words, before the 2020 election. So it's hot. The President Trump is just going to resist it all the way. But we'll see whether, in fact, there will be some transparency on tax returns before people vote next year.
And Bruce, just finally, in relation to where things are at, you said that those polling numbers would be heartening for Trump supporters. He certainly won with worse numbers, I think, from memory, leading into the last election. So he would be very confident.
Yeah.
Is there much speculation about the Democrats potentially having an 11th hour candidate that might gazump all of them?
I don't think so, Kieran. First, just the mechanics. It's very hard to enter the race late, file in all the primaries, assemble the mechanism, campaign teams, raise the money and so forth to become competitive. And then who would it be? There's no obvious person, except perhaps for Hillary Clinton, not in the race. And I think returning to Hillary Clinton...
Oprah?
Would be, well, maybe.
She's got the money.
She has the money. I don't think it's going to happen. But what's interesting is in this New York Times poll, the candidates on the left, Elizabeth Warren runs worse than Biden. And then also Trump feels he can carry other states not in this poll, like Minnesota, for example, New Mexico. He only lost Minnesota by 65,000 votes. So Trump thinks there's more territory to add. It means that he can, in the midst of this storm, he can take from this poll some confidence that he's on track, and he's going to exploit it all the way.